Well, it's February. Start the second round of Big 12 play. Certainly have a tough opponent on Wednesday, and another top 25 team coming to Hilton. So I think our team is excited about what's ahead, and we know we have to play really, really well. But it's fun to be in this environment, and it's fun to play important games in February. So hopefully we're ready to go tomorrow.
How do things change as you start playing teams for a second time each year?
I don't know that it changes a lot. I think there's a little nuance to, maybe you make a couple slight adjustments, but you are who you are. I think in our league, obviously, the uniqueness of the Big 12 is you play everyone twice. So, as you build your season, the goals are always who can you get 2 wins from and who can you avoid losing 2 games to. So I think that's our goal right now. And obviously Kansas State they're a top 25 team. The NCAA committee had them 16th. So I'm not the only one who thinks they're good. And arguably in Yoki Lee, they may have the leading candidate for player of the year. So we had a tremendous game with them down there not that long ago. So I think our players are completely understand what's in front of them, and we'll have to play better than we played down there, but hopefully we can do that.
You mentioned Lee. I know with so many great guards in the league, you have Lexi guarding the best player generally. Obviously, you can't do that in this situation. How effective were your posts? Because she obviously didn't score 61 against you down there. But,
she only got 38.
But the dynamic of her being that dominant, so good, but also a well-coached team that knows how to play and play their game.
No, I think that's the big piece is, she's a very, very good player. And I think in college basketball in general, especially in the women's game, size is so hard to deal with. And I think that's evident with what she's done, and whether it was Brittany Griner or whoever it is. You look at Aaliyah Boston, players with size in the women's game are just so hard to figure out. And I think to their credit, and I think that's a tribute to their coaches, to the kids on that team, is you don't score 61 points unless someone throws you the ball. She's not playing point guard. She's not Steph Curry. Someone's got to throw her the ball. And I think they know what they do well. They space the floor very well. Her angles are good. I don't think we did a terrible job on her. I really don't. But you got to do a really good job of limiting the easy touches, keep her off the backboard, don't try not to foul. The things that we normally do, but I think when you play a great player, you got to make sure that the great player doesn't play great, that they have another good game and she gets her 20 whatever and we move on. So hopefully that's the case.
And I remember when you were the last unbeaten team in league play, you talked about how we're going to lose sometime, and you lost a couple tough ones but responded. How would you assess just how they did respond to that adversity?
No, I think I'm really proud of them. It was a miserable week. I mean, a lot of ways, on the court, off the court. And I said, that's not just college basketball. That's life. And you have choices. And their choice was to come back, work hard, play hard. We beat a very good Kansas team. We went on the road again. So I think that if you evaluate where we were, and then, our big thing is next chapter. The season is a book. And, we had a couple bad chapters, and, you write the next one. And I think they've handled it really well. I think the leadership of our team is really good. And it's a tribute to them that they stopped it when they did. And then when it comes again, hopefully we can stop it in a similar fashion.
Coach, at their place, you're down, I think it was 11 with about 6 minutes to go. You ended up hitting 6 or 7 threes down the stretch. What did that say that day about just the character of your team to just keep plugging away under those circumstances?
No, John, I think what it says is, every coach talks about playing for 40 minutes and, it bores people to death and it bores the players to death. But, our team just kept playing. And I think the start of the second half, we were down 11 and cut it to 4, and then we went back down. But at least we showed we were hanging around a little bit. But we have kids that can make shots, and when you have, an Ashley Jones, Alexi Donarski, and Emily Ryan, we ran a play for Mo out of his timeout to shoot a 3. That says a lot about them, not just their talent, but their will to compete. And, those are the kinds of games that when the year's over and we're all hanging out in the spring and you look back at your season, you're like, oh, that game, that might not have been just one win. You don't know how it impacts your season. So it was not a perfect game, and everyone made a big deal that we only led for 21 seconds. But it was the right 21 seconds, I guess.
In that game, first half, Aoka kind of came out and had just about all their points in the first half, I want to say. Mm-hmm. How did you game plan differently in the second half to limit her to what you guys did?
I thought we did a little better job of pressuring the ball. I thought we did a little better job of getting her off her spots. It wasn't perfect. I think she had 24 at halftime and ended up with 38. And some of that too is, we got to make her defend a little bit too. But I do think the second half our post players did a much better job. And like I said, if you look at the stats, the numbers that we look at a lot when we play great players is keeping them off the free throw line. And in Yoki's case, how many offensive rebounds can we limit? Because a lot of times in the women's game, it's catch, turn, shoot, miss, get your own rebound, lay it back in the basket. And we did a pretty good job of not letting that happen.
We've got Ashley getting about 100 or so points away from the school's all-time scoring record right now. Just talk a little bit about what she's meant to the program and what it means for her to be among some of those greats like Bridget and Angie.
Yeah, I'm not the smartest guy, obviously, but I'm kind of running out of words, to talk about Ash. But I think what she's done is she's done it on a daily basis. She's been very consistent. She doesn't like or need the limelight. She doesn't need or like the attention. She just shows up and plays basketball, and she's impacted winning. She's impacted our community. She's someone that is our little kids love her and our senior citizens love her. She's a kid that her teammates like to play with. I think that like you said, she's going to break the school scoring record, and you talking about Angie Welly and Bridget Carlton and a few other people. And I've said this many times, and not that it means anything more to some people, but I do think there's a slight something slightly more cool that she's from our state. She's one of our own. And certainly I think that means a lot to our fan base. And, we are Iowa State University, and to have a kid from our state impact our state, not just our program, it has been really, really fun to see. And everything she's gotten, she's earned.
I don't know how prophetic you are, but when she was coming out of City High, did you imagine that she'd be at this place 4 years later, that she'd be getting close to that record?
No, I didn't think so. I really didn't. And again, I'm not saying we didn't think she'd be a really good basketball player, but when you start talking about numbers like that's insane. And I'm reading all these articles about all these kids scoring all these points. Well, they're in their 5th COVID year. She's in a normal 4th year of college. So I think what she's done and how she's done it with a lot of dignity, a lot of class. She's always put her teammates first. She's been a kid that's been fun to be around, fun to coach. And it's exciting to see her get that attention.
Do you think it helped her playing a year with Bridget, that she had a chance to learn from her for at least a little bit?
No question. That might have been maybe the best thing ever happened to Ashley Jones, besides coming to Iowa State, I hope. But when she was a freshman, we put her locker right next to Bridget's. I just said, just do what she does, whatever she does, however she does it. And if you go back, and I did this after Ash's freshman year, her stats and Bridget's stats were eerily the same. And then I put columns of all the stuff Bridget did after that. And I said to Ash, I go, all right, this is what you're trying to get to. And she slowly worked towards that. But I think the impact that Bridget Carlton had on her on the court, off the court, cannot be understated. Bridget's one of the best human beings, best players, best role models we've ever had in this program. And so to see that work ethic and that commitment daily, you can't replace that. You can't coach that. And Ash benefited from it. Now it's Ash's turn to do it for the other guys.